Before the start of all of this, months and months in advance, I'm talking almost the beginning of 2025, my mental health was what I can only describe as worn down to a fine nub, to the point where even though I tried my best to put on a smile, mentally I was out the door no matter where I was. And more as time went on, it seemed like the worse I got and the more that I wanted to keep to myself and just eat to shove the pain down. To that, which I believe is how I got into the 500-pound range, because everything just got so much worse to the point where I was getting fast food and or making myself stuff multiple times a day, when back then, when it was just like 300, barely dipping into the 400, it was like once, maybe twice a day. To only list a few things in my personal life that I would like to share. A couple years ago now, my father passed away, and leading up to that, him and I were finally talking after so many years of barely speaking, and to me it felt like we were slowly patching things together, and then out of nowhere he died. And then that left an open-ended book on my end, thus plummeting me down to a point where I just felt unbelievably worthless, that I'm always just going to feel this way because I couldn't even talk to my own father. Then, fast forward a little bit, up to my 30th birthday, one day beforehand, on this very couch that I'm sitting on, I broke down and I absolutely cried my eyes out into my wife's arms. I explained to her how worthless and pathetic I felt, how I've been feeling, and so on and so forth, and all she could do was sit there and hold me. Then later that day, I crushed so much pizza. And did it help? No. Fast forward a little more, my weight was getting so out of control that slowly, at my job, I was getting written up. I wasn't able to do it properly anymore like I used to. I didn't have the stamina anymore. Then I go on a medical leave and decide to quit my job because I could not do it anymore. And rightfully so, they were not going to wait on me to get things right. So I leave my job, my depression and my mental health deteriorates even more because I feel like a failure. I feel pathetic. I let my wife down. I let everyone else down. I basically threw away 4 years of hard work there. So then, just living off one person's paycheck, I selfishly still spent money that we didn't have really to spend on more DoorDash, pizza orders, getting Walmart orders full of junk food, candy, chips, anything I can to fill my stomach and to hide the pain, and just hopefully in my head that I would just pass away in my sleep so I wouldn't be a burden to anyone anymore. And I thought those thoughts quite a bit. I just felt like one giant heavy burden, laying in bed every night, rolled over, facing away from my wife and just crying my eyes out, hoping that she doesn't hear me. And then one day, my wife Caitlin breaks down and tells me that every day that she's been to work while I've been home by myself, basically binging myself to death, she's been worried sick that while no one is at home, she's gonna come home and find me on the floor from a heart attack, a stroke, really anything. Because at that point I was so heavy and my body was so weak from eating so much food and staying immobile that there was times where I went to the floor and it took me about 15 minutes just to pick myself up because I had to gather all the strength possible to do it. And for some reason, I did not know that. Some reason, I didn't think maybe that was a possibility. I just thought that I would just go away and be done with everyone. So at that point, from then on, I started to create a plan of action of what I was going to do to get my life back, because I couldn't stand the thought of leaving her behind like that, or the last image she sees of me is on the floor, just gone. And I wouldn't wish that on anybody. It is a horrible thing to think about. My own father was found on the ground with no one around, all by himself. He was found the next morning, and that's a death that I would never wish for. So I started to make a plan. Slowly but surely, I was putting it together of what I was going to do. I went through my old macro tracking app and started to look at foods and watching my old videos, looking at old chats of stuff I've said in the past whenever I've lost hundreds of pounds. And I started to look for the old me, the one that tried, the one that gave it his all. And as I tried to put more and more pieces together on how I was going to get back on my feet and not let it end this way, I started to feel more confident again, and I started to feel a little bit happier to know that I still had that fire in there somewhere. Because me now, as you see me confidently talking to you, compared to how I was back then, everything kind of sucked. And I just gained weight. And I grew more tired and more depressed. My face is so puffy, I don't even recognize myself anymore. My eyes always hurt, my back always hurts, my legs always hurts. Now all I want to do is sleep all day.
Let us proceed.
I don't really know what to say. That's all I got. I believe the difference is night and day. I went to the doctor, got on the right medications, started dealing with stuff like the small case of edema I have in my feet, and even my tachycardia. And as my weight went down, so did my increased heart rate, and so did the swelling in my feet. More and more, it feels like I am peeling away this husk that I'm currently in to find my older self. For the people who have followed me in the last couple of days, for the people that have sent me personal messages to talk to me, which by the way, thank you so much. All your words are unbelievably appreciated. I want something like that for you. So my message to you is this: don't let the bad thoughts win. Don't use food as an excuse. Because more and more as you do that, all you're doing is digging a hole, and then you're gonna end up, like me, on a couch, throbbing in pain from not even moving, wishing that you could just die. Wishing that you could just go already. So don't let the bad thoughts win. Don't sit around feeling sorry for yourself, thinking of what could have been. Make it happen. If you need help, get it. I'm doing great right now. I am on top of the world compared to a couple months ago. Surround yourself with good people. Surround yourself with good choices. And just keep going. You've got this. I've got this. We've got this. Thank you.